sanctuary, and let's stand and get some blood going and some body going and some energy. And
Should we switch?
affirm it. No.
No.
1, 2, 3, da. You know this one. Here we go.
God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. Love is my source. Love is my power.
Where's everybody?
Love gives me everything I need.
Come in.
So I give thanks for all my blessings. Love gives me everything I need. Peace is my source. Peace is my power. Peace gives me everything I need. One more. So I give thanks for all my blessings. Peace gives me everything I need.
Joy.
Joy is my source. Joy is my power. Joy gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. Joy gives me everything I need. God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need.
Yeah.
Thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. God gives me everything I need. God gives me everything I need.
That's a good way to end it. There we go. That brought a few more people
Gotta
in.
hang
Nice
on
job.
to you.
All right, good morning.
Morning.
So wonderful to welcome all of you to our church service here at Unity of Fox Valley Family Service. And I want to take a moment to recognize and welcome all those of you who may be tuned in on our YouTube channel this morning. Thank you ever so much for being with us and sharing your loving energy. And just a quick reminder, please do silence your cell phones. And I should have told you at the beginning, we have another song, so you want to come back to your feet.
Yeah, you stay up there. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ba, 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 ba. Not yet. So, I am spirit-led, spirit-led. Everywhere and always I am spirit-led. Let's do that again. Spirit-led. Okay?
Ready.
All right. We can come right in, but we weren't all ready. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here we go. I am spirit-led, spirit-led. Everywhere and always I am spirit-led. I am spirit-led, spirit-led. Everywhere and always I am spirit-led. Again, I am spirit-led, spirit-led. Everywhere and always I am spirit-led. I am spirit-led, spirit-led. Everywhere and always I am spirit-led. Flowing like a river of peace. I am nature's wonderful child. Love cannot be added to me. I am made complete in the divine. I am spirit-led, spirit-led. Everywhere and always I am spirit-led. I am spirit-led, spirit-led. Everywhere and always I am spirit-led. There's magic in every day, like a beautiful song. As I am choosing my way, there's a voice inside, they're guiding me along. I am spirit-led, spirit-led. Everywhere and always I am spirit-led. I am spirit-led, spirit-led. Everywhere and always I am spirit-led. I am spirit-led, spirit-led. Everywhere and always I am spirit-led. I am spirit-led, spirit-led. Everywhere and always I am spirit-led. Everywhere and always I am spirit-led.
Thank you. Please be seated. And I invite you now to please pray with me our Spirit's unfolding vision prayer. Guided by divine wisdom and inspired by divine imagination, centered in divine love, and knowing that God is our source, we boldly move forth in faith as we allow Spirit's expanding vision to unfold in our lives, the life of the spiritual community, and our world. Thank you, God. Amen. And now I would like to invite Denise to please come forward and share with us today's daily word reading. Kitty, you will introduce.
Good morning. I'm Denise. I'm your prayer chaplain today, and after the service, I'd be happy to meet with anybody that would like to share joys or concerns and pray together back by the cry room. Our word for today is loving. And let us affirm the boundless love of God expresses through me. I am loving. To be loving means to be kind, understanding, and generous. It means forgiving grievances easily and seeking to understand myself and others. In striving to be loving toward others, I begin with myself. Exercising self-compassion when I make a mistake makes forgiving others easier. Taking time for self-care makes it more natural for me to be a nurturing presence for others. Treating myself well helps make my generosity spontaneous and frequent. Love is the very nature of God. I am a spiritual being, which means love is my nature too. Through my loving nature, I am positive, optimistic, hopeful, and faith-filled. I am the heart and hands of God on earth. I am loving. And from 1 Corinthians 13, 4 and 7, love is patient, love is kind. It bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, and endures all things. And so it is.
Thank you, Denise. And now I invite you to join with me in praying the Essene version of the Lord's Prayer. O thou, from whom the breath of life comes, who fills all realms of sound, light, and vibration, may your light be experienced in my utmost holiest. Your heavenly domain approaches. Let your will come true in the universe, just as on earth. For our daily need, detach the fetters of faults that bind us. Like we let go the guilt of others, let us not be lost in superficial things, but let us be freed from that which keeps us from our true purpose. And from you comes the all-working will, the lively strength to act, the song that beautifies all and renews itself from age to age. Sealed in trust, faith, and truth, I confirm with my whole being. Now it's time for us to bless our children. So I would like to invite our children to please come forward along with their sponsors so that we may attend to this. Absolutely one of my favorite parts of the service. Please join with me in blessing our children. We love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the Christ in you, and know that you are empowered to do great things.
When you wish upon a star, makes no difference
our guests today. Of course, it won't come up. Thank you very much. Screenshot didn't come through either. That's so weird. Okay, y'all. We have one of the most amazing vocalists today that I've ever met. Her name is Cheryl Wilson, and the first time I heard her sing, I was like, well, it's all over for me. I'm like, she's just so amazing. I don't mean that in a bad way, but she's just like, she can do literally anything with her voice, and she has a beautiful heart and a beautiful soul. She lives in Chicago. She drove an hour to get here, and we are extremely fortunate to have her today. Along with her accompanist, whom you know and love, and I know and love for obvious reasons, Michael Stryker. So Cheryl has performed and recorded with, if you think of your favorite artist in your head right now, just on the count of three, say your favorite artist. 1, 2, 3. She's probably recorded with them, okay? That's probably why her bio wouldn't come up, because it's so long and so unbelievable that you're like, there's no way she could have done this. No, she has. She really and truly has. She is also an accomplished violist and plays with Chicago Philharmonic. She's going to Carnegie Hall next week. Yeah? So, yeah, this is how blessed we are today to have these two artists here. So may I please welcome Cheryl Wilson and Michael Stryker. I'm sorry I couldn't get the whole darn. I guess it was meant to be. Or
It was meant to be.
Was it meant to be?
It was totally meant to be. Hello.
This is why the Apple pencils at our house always get lost.
Snow falls in space, creates a falling grace, star white and passing its time in flight and changing light. Falling in space in a timeless falling grace, leaving no trace. The wind is whispering no regrets. How soon time forgets. We can learn this yet, to move in space, fall with grace. Falling snow falls in space, creates a falling grace, star white and passing its time in flight and changing light. Falling in space in a timeless falling grace, leaving no trace. The wind is whispering no regrets. How soon time forgets. To learn this yet, to move in space, fall with grace, falling grace. Snow falls in space, creates falling grace, star-white and passing its time in flight, and changing love, falling in space, in a timeless falling grace, leaving no trace. The wind is whispering no regrets. How soon time forgets. We'll learn this yet. To move in space, fall with grace, leave no trace. Falling grace.
Yeah, thanks, Carl. I'm not even going to try. Welcome again, officially. I really like to get to people who are guest singers, and guest musicians before the service to welcome you and thank you for being with us. And I just was precluded from doing that today, so I'm sorry. But the billing that Kitty gave you was an understatement, okay? And Michael, you always are terrific when you bless us with on the keyboard. So thank you very, very much for being with us. I'll try to cut it short. And I will share with you, I'm sharing with the congregation, usually when the song is going on before the message, my head is really kind of reviewing in my mind the message. And I started to do that this morning, and I said, Michael, you idiot. Stop that. Just appreciate the magic of what's going on in this moment. So it was wonderful. So this wife came to her husband, and she said, I'm leaving you. And the husband said, is it because I always come off about knowing absolutely everything about everything? And she said, yes. And he said, I knew it. A year ago, a little more than a year ago, Susan and I attended a wedding for her nephew, Danny. And it was a beautiful wedding. The venue was on Martha's Vineyard. What could be bad about that? And we went to the ceremony, and then at the dinner, the wedding dinner, the father of the bride got up, and in his talk was mostly about his new son-in-law. And he shared that early on, when his daughter brought him home, he immediately began that process of scrutiny. And a lot of us dads do that when it comes to our daughters, okay? My daughter just celebrated her 25th wedding anniversary with my son-in-law, Tim. And, Tim, the jury's still out, okay, Tim? Actually, I'm kidding. Tim has become a genuine hero figure to me. I don't think she could have made a better choice. But anyway, going back to the speech that the dad was making at the dinner, he put it all into the context that he studied this young man, Danny, Susan's nephew, and he looked him over and he checked into his background, and he came to the conclusion that he was a righteous dude. And he wanted everybody there to know that this is where his head was, and that he was gaining a son or a son-in-law that was a righteous dude. And that term, righteous dude, You know, it really became popular by virtue of the movie Ferris Bueller's Day Off. And it's one of those terms that, you know, we all can't really define what it is that makes a righteous dude a righteous dude. But at the same time, we kind of have a sense for it. Okay? So I just want to ask you a question, because our talk title today is what was Jesus a righteous dude? How many of you think that Jesus was a righteous dude? Okay. So in the Sermon on the Mount, Jesus gave us the beatitude, you know, blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they shall be satisfied. And I'm deviating from the talk about right now because did you ever have a real hunger and thirst for everything, like a real craving? And then if you don't get it, you might binge on 25 different foods, but you're still not satisfied. It's like an itch that just can't be scratched, and it drives you absolutely crazy. But another important question is, did Jesus consider himself to be a righteous dude? So I want to share a story with you. It's an interesting gospel story. It's found in both Mark and Matthew. And it goes like this. Jesus was hanging out with his disciples when a woman came up to him, a Canaanite woman came up to him, and she got in his face and she said, "Lord, have mercy on me. My daughter is suffering and greatly because she has been demonized by a spirit." And the apostles and the disciples came up to Jesus and said, "You got to tell her to bug off. You really have to tell her to go away because she's been following us all over the place and she's making us absolutely nuts." And so Jesus says the words, "I was sent only to the lost sheep of Israel." And so he's communicating that his ministry, as he sees it, has a very definite but narrower perspective on things. But the woman wouldn't go away, and she gets in front of Jesus again, and she goes down on her knees and says, "Lord, please help me." And in response to this, Jesus says, "It is not right to give the food of the children to the dogs." Yeah, you heard me right. It is not right to share the food of the children with the dogs. Now, I'm guessing that you guys, a lot of you are hearing this for the first time. I know somebody is in particularly because she's like, "What?" And there's a reason for that. Because traditional churches and church traditions really are at a loss for words in terms of trying to explain the meaning of this passage and the meaning of this story. Did Jesus actually refer to the woman as a dog? And so what the churches have done and traditional Christian religions have done is they went to that place that something we all do when we really don't understand what's going on. They began to rationalize the situation. And they came up with all kinds of things like, he was just testing her faith. Or he meant it, like, he didn't really mean a dog. He was, talking about a cute little cuddly puppy. Or he was just toying with her. He was intending to grant her her wish all along. And to all three of those scenarios, I say no, no, and no. And I will share with you that in preparation for the talk, I spent a couple of hours on the internet looking for a text that would offer an explanation for this passage. And I watched several videos, and all of those came up with similar rationalizations in terms of what I just shared. And I think that the words of Jesus stand on their own. And to give you just a little bit of background, this was a time in which the Jews had a feeling that they were superior to and over and above the Canaanites. And I really believe that that's the consciousness that in that moment Jesus was coming from. Two questions come up. The first is, why would the writers of those two Gospels include this in their message? And the other one is, why am I taking this up this week and taking 20 minutes of your time this morning to listen to this story? What significance does it hold for each and every one of us? So to go back to the first one, just to give you some context, a cultural context, an historical context, the writers of the Gospel of Mark and the writers of the Gospel of Matthew, their audience at that time was the Jews. And I think you could take and encapsulate the entire Gospel of Matthew and summarize it in something like, as he's addressing the Jews, saying, "You dummies, you fools, what is the matter with you? You had what you have been praying for since forever, the Messiah, right here in your midst, and you blew it. You didn't pay attention. You were so caught up in your letter of the law, you were so caught up in your rituals and your prayer shawls and everything else, and you were so caught up in your own sense of self-righteousness. Not righteousness, self-righteousness. That it blinded you and deprived you of getting what you always wanted. And see, we might be able to understand that based on what I've explained here, but, give it a thought. What are we so caught up in that we prevent ourselves from seeing the reality and the presence of God in our midst? Because it's an underlying principle in unity. All we have to do is look around at one another. All we have to do is look at the abundance of the world, which gets obscured and hidden by a lot of people. I understand that, and I grant you that. And we don't understand. We become blind to the truth and the beauty and the wonder of the presence of God. I want to go back to the story just to give you how it ends. When the woman hears this and the aspersion that Jesus cast about dogs, she doesn't go away. She gets in his face. And when he said that the food of the children is not meant to be tossed to the dogs, she says, yes, it is. And she confronts him because she said, even the dogs get to eat the scraps from the master's table. So I came up with a new phrase for this talk. I want to talk about that because I want to talk about that in the context of what I'm for this talk in conjunction with the scriptures, bow wow spirituality. I don't care who you are, what you are. I don't care how old you are. At one time or another, the message has been sent to you that you are less than. At one point or another, we have all got the message that we do not measure up. We have gotten the measure that we do not belong in one context or another. And we have been meant to feel like dogs because of the color of our skin. We have been meant to feel like dogs because of our age, whether you're really old or really young or somewhere in between, that's true. We have been meant to feel like dogs because our bank accounts don't measure up. We have been meant to feel like dogs because we're too short, too fat, too tall, too skinny. We have been meant to feel like dogs because we are immigrants. The message always comes to us. And this is where bow wow spirituality comes in. Because it makes absolutely no difference what anybody has ever said to you that belittles you, that puts you down, that makes you feel less than, that make you feel like a dog. Even if you have taken that over the years so much that you have internalized it, it makes absolutely no difference. If you lock on to the idea that regardless of who you are, each and every one of us is in fact a child of God, and we have a place at the table of the Lord. And the only way that you could actually be denied it is if you deny it yourself. If you do not hunger and thirst for the righteousness within you, then it's never going to happen. Well, what about this person, Jesus, in the story? Because in the metaphysics, when you're doing the metaphysics, you are all of the characters in the story. What about the metaphysics of Jesus? And I think that it was written by the gospel writers to convey to the Jewish population, here was somebody of stature. Here is somebody who was the self-proclaimed Son of Man in response to the prophecy of the Hebrew Scriptures. And he, in that moment, was able to move from a consciousness, from a mentality that was built around being chosen, that was built around privilege, and transition from that to a consciousness of inclusiveness. It's a story about a transition from self-righteousness to righteousness. This is really hard for traditional church to understand. Because I'm not sharing the story in my interpretation of the story today in order to lessen the power and the presence of the influence of the Christ in the world and the influence of the Christ within us. On the contrary, I think it's empowering on multiple levels. I don't believe that the meaning of the word becoming flesh was a done deal at the onset. I believe that the way shower that we call Jesus had to work about expanding who he was and expanding his humanity to the point of elevating that to the divine. Before he began his ministry, he went out and spent 40 days in the desert in prayer and fasting. He didn't go into the desert having all the answers. He went into the desert in order to find answers. And we're talking about somebody that on the night before his death, he prayed in the Garden of Gethsemane until he was sweating blood, praying, "Let this cup pass from my lips." And that doesn't sound exactly like a confident Godhead to me. I'm sorry. And one of his sayings on the cross was, "Eli, Eli, lema sabachthani," which means, my God, why have you forsaken me?" These are words of somebody that grew into a consciousness of who he was. Because you know what? If we hold what a lot of traditional Christian churches hold, that he was God while lying in the manger and had it all figured out, man, that's just cheating. It's not fair. To tell us then that we have to, develop a sense of a genuine righteousness and hunger for a genuine righteousness, with, our one hand tied behind our back. No, the power of it all comes through to us in the knowing that we can become all that Jesus was, and in his words, even more. By the way, Luna, please don't take any disrespect from this talk today. At all. It's just so fascinating to me, given the oppression that's on in the world and given all of the pain that's on in the world, that how difficult it is to say, "You call me a dog if you want to call me a dog." But it involves not growing and becoming who and what we really are from a sense of entitlement. Entitlement, anyway, as defined by the world, but it does grow and become a part of entitlement by the basis of who and what we really are. And we have this tendency, it's a very human tendency, when all of this garbage comes at us about all of the things we are not and all of the things that we cannot be, we sometimes try to hide that by becoming a know-it-all. See, I had to tie my joke in to the whole message here. And so we spout off. And we give the presence and the opinion that I've got this all under control. I am, cruising, living the dream. Everything's good because I know what I'm doing. But it is through our weakness. It is only through our weakness or our perceived weakness that we rise up. Not through money, not through power, but we rise up in the consciousness of who and what we are. I think a principal lesson for us Gentiles in that story was that inclusiveness for each and every one of us is there. But the trick is, You have to insist upon it, as the woman in the story insisted upon it. And you have to refuse to take no for an answer in terms of striving for what you need and who you are and what you want to do. And you have to be strong enough to say no when the world tells you, sorry, it's not for you. I think this is one of the more powerful readings that we could find in the scriptures. And it's unfortunate that it's been kept hidden for so long, obscured for so long. But I'm comfortable being in the role of a dog. I really am. And because I know, I know from experience the love that we dogs are capable of giving. We open up an opportunity to love. We open up an opportunity that denies all of the noise that the world wants to dump on us. And as usual, it all starts with prayer. And so let's do that now. I should have called the talk Bow Wow Spirituality. It would have been a much better title. I invite you at this time to join me in prayer. And we do this exercise of meditation, not so much with our words as we do with our ears, as we do with our hearts. And so take a nice deep breath. Make yourself comfortable. Feel the support of that chair in which you are sitting. Take another breath and go through the motion of making the breath you take very deliberate and with an awareness that you are breathing in the spirit of life and you are dispelling that which no longer serves you, that which you no longer need, and with an understanding that that's an important step so that you can then take that next breath with an ever renewed sense of spirit dwelling within you. And in doing this, at least for the next few minutes, you let go of everything that torments you, everything that bothers you, everything that worries you, every concern, all the pain. And know that you are sitting in an environment in which that's okay to do. You are sitting in a very safe space. And in that knowing and in that acceptance that you are in a safe place, we move now to make this a very sacred, spiritual space. A space that resonates to your very core, to your soul. A space that acknowledges the beauty, the power, the splendor, the awesomeness of you. A space where all that is asked of you in this moment is to listen. Listen to that still small voice within. Allow it to vibrate, to resonate in every part of your being. Your head, your heart, your fingers, your toes, and then move to an understanding that it all springs forth from the Christ light that dwells in your soul. It is in the silence that we learn that we are so much more than we typically tend to regard ourselves. Not moving to a place of arrogance. On the contrary, moving to a place of an incredibly beautiful, accepting humility. In this moment, we have nothing to prove. Again, in this moment, we just listen. And as we do, we come to realize that everything and anything that we ever desire already is ours. We are, in fact, love. We are, in fact, joy. We are, in fact, compassion. And most of all, we are, in fact, peace. And so we affirm that truth, we affirm that reality now in some moments of silence. And it may be difficult, but I ask you now to return to this space, this physical space, this sanctuary. And as you grow comfortable, you may open your eyes and do so with the knowing that whatever joy and love or euphoria or whatever warm feelings that you may have experienced in the silence, those things, you bring that with you. The wonder of you is not something that you leave behind. The splendor of you is what you come forth in for now to manifest, to make visible. The powerful knowing that you indeed are the Word becoming flesh. In loving spirit, we give you so much thanks for this opportunity to come together. With all of our worries, our troubles, our foibles, our failures, our insecurities, and together we discover that none of those things define us. Together we discover that we really are the manifestation of you in the world. That we get to participate in the ongoing process of creation. We thank you for this, Spirit. We thank you for the knowing of this and for so much more. And so it is. Amen. Thank you, music team. You guys know how much I love you and how much I need you. I hope you know. Now it's time for our sacrament of giving and receiving. It's time for a love offering. And I invite you, as you make ready for this, that you take your gifts, your offering, and symbolically just hold it to your heart, because you understand that what you give in dollars and cents is just a tangible expression of all that you give by virtue of giving of your very being. And join me then in praying our affirmations. God is my instant, constant, abundant source of supply, and divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all the good that I am, I have, I give, and I receive. Divine love flowing through us blesses and multiplies all the good that we are, we have, we give, and we receive.
It's only a paper moon over a cardboard sea. It wouldn't be make-believe if you believed in me. Yes, it's only a canvas sky hanging over a muslin tree. It wouldn't be make-believe if you believed in me. Without your love, it's a honky-tonk parade. Without your love, it's a melody played in a penny arcade. It's a Barnum and Bailey world, as phony as it can be. But it wouldn't be make-believe if you believed in me. Without your love, it's a honky-tonk parade. Without your love, it's a penny arcade in a love that's made. It's a Barnum and Bailey world, as phony as it can be. But it wouldn't be make-believe if you believed in me. No, it wouldn't be make-believe. It wouldn't be make-believe. It wouldn't be make-believe if you believed in me. If you
how could we not believe in you? Hearing is believing. Thank you again for being with us, both you, Cheryl, and you, Michael. We really are very, very appreciative. We deserve it, but we are appreciative. All right, it's time for our announcements, on which there are a few, all of which are important, okay? Coffee and Tea with Myrtle and Me meets every Thursday morning at 10:30 a.m. Join us at the church. Bring a drink, maybe a treat. Enjoy conversation with friends. Open forum. Whatever you want to ask, whatever you want to talk about is fair game. Everybody's welcome. And remember, if it is too hot, too cold, rainy, no problem. We just come and meet downstairs. Tailgate Trick or Treat is coming up. Come dressed in costume and join us for Halloween fun. This is next week, folks. You get to come in costume, okay? I'm sorry, I'm mixing the announcements. Let me promote the event, okay? Dale is coming next week, dressed in costume, and registration for that is due no later than this Wednesday by contacting Mary with the number of youths that will be attending. The other announcement that I started to get confused about is this. This Saturday is our outing at Abbey Farms. Each ticket provides entrance at 4 p.m., but you may arrive anytime after that, and the beer and wine tent is open until 10. We encourage any of you who have Unity shirts to wear them so that we can find each other for a Unity hayride. Buy your tickets. Today is your last chance. Look out. Unity of Fox Valley will be experiencing a beetle invasion on November the 3rd. Much of what Unity teaches us aligns with what the Fab Four embodied, so we hope you'll join the Unity of Fox Valley music team as we celebrate the music of one of the more influential bands in all of rock history. Listen to this next one, please. It is time to start thinking about our Thanksgiving feast. And we still do not have a chair or two to plan and implement this annual event in order for it to happen. If anyone is interested, please contact Bobby Severson for details. And one more last plug that I don't think is on the screen. Our annual meeting now is 3 weeks from today, November the 10th. And I just want to remind everybody, every year we are looking for people to run for the board. If you think this might be a ministry that in any way, shape, or form appeals to you, please contact Marie. If you approach Marie, that doesn't mean you're signing in. It means that you're approaching her for information about what is involved about being a board member. Okay, that concludes our announcements for today. So I'm going to invite you now to please stand. We are going to confer upon one another our congregational blessing, followed by our peace song and our prayer of protection. Please turn to the person next to you or across the aisle and bless. We love you. We bless you. We appreciate you. We behold the Christ in you and know that you are empowered to do great things. Stay standing for our peace song and prayer of protection.
United all our
protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is.
And all is well. Play ball.
Love you guys.
Okay.